prove it.
Right.
So, they were fine with that. I mean, we all make mistakes, and it's happened where we clear an area and the body's found there. It happens.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, I mean, whenever people are calling us, they're calling us because something's wrong in somebody's life, and somebody's calling us because they couldn't do what they need us to do.
Exactly.
That's when it starts, and that's when to even call, like you said, the Dutch mentality, to even call and ask for help is getting over a hurdle with people.
It is.
And emergency services are still male dominated, for better or for worse, and it's just tough to get over it. And I mean, I think our teams always work together well.
Sure.
And do you remember? Any of your other peers in this? Do you still talk to anybody?
Yeah. Well, I talk to you.
Other than me.
Other than you, sure. I mean, there's. I mean, I got to talk to my brother. He's still around. I talked to a couple of the guys. I talked to chiefs, ex chiefs of different SAR teams. Here and there. Still talk to Miller. I still talk to Tobias. I talked to a few of the guys. Yeah.
I got to give Tobias a call. You just reminded me.
We'll write it down.
Yeah, call Tobias. Do you miss it?
Do I miss SAR?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I wish, I see on the news this person missing, and I want to go out there and do something about it. But then I think to myself, why? I don't need the hassle, because you know how it works. You get a lot of hassle with it. Especially if you approach a police officer and say, listen, I can help you. And they're looking at you like you're nuts.
Well, that I can almost take, because that's changed and that's workable. I can't take when hassle comes from other people that are practicing the same craft, supposedly, my peers. I can't take that as much. It's like the difference between your family causing you grief and the world causing you grief.
Right.
Yeah. It's a huge difference. And we both know there's a lot of people in a vocation that create more grief than they should.
Sure.
When you guys were doing it, one of the things that hasn't changed is money. You guys are always fundraising. We don't get funding. People don't understand that. And we run teams on nothing. I mean,
teams are run on the individual.
Right.
They're not. There's no kitty out there saying, here's a X amount of money for you showing up to this search, and here's your gas money back, or here's X amount of money for the training you just took. There's nothing there. I spent many a Saturday with a Stokes basket in front of a store begging for coins.
Oh yeah. You guys were like champion beggars before. A lot of what you did was before the internet really took off, and that changed stuff because you didn't have that social media push. No. And I don't know. I mean, you kind of been on both sides of it, but you were more on the non-internet side. I think it was better without the internet, to be honest with you.
Yes and no. I mean, I picked some membership off the internet, but besides that, you have to be face to face. There's no. The internet's good to get your name out there. But when it comes to fundraising and it comes to different things like that, I mean, you have to see the people.
It just turns into high school, though, is the problem I have with it. It just turns into high school. And no vice principal,
No.
So you do everything right, and then some troll says something about something you do.
Right.
Yeah. It's just...
the internet can make or break you.
It can. And it shouldn't be able to. It should just be able to augment you.
Right.
It should be an amplifier. It shouldn't be a changer. How many people do you guys have at your highest number?
When Northeast SAR, we were about 2.25 with all 4 divisions.
I'm trying to think who else was in it. It's different now, because back when you were doing it, people had flexibility to get off work.
Sure.
They don't have
that anymore.
It's just, you got
to feed your family. So, I mean, you don't have time to do anything volunteer anymore. I mean, the volunteer system is pretty much shot.
Unless somebody helps it somehow.
Yeah. Well, if someone would help it, then we'd be a lot better. I mean, if the state government, maybe step in and help with funding somehow, or like they do with the fire departments or what have you, I mean, maybe be a little different.
Well, what they don't understand is that when they it's saving them millions of dollars a year.
Sure. Saving them a lot of money from the state police, for what have you, saving them tons of cash.
Because very often we go to something and there'd be, $20,000 of salary burning up at a scene.
Right.
Just burning up every shift.
Exactly.
And you're just watching it. And that isn't helping this thing come to a conclusion.
No. I mean, you see that there's nothing against the police.
No.
Not at all. But you see a police officer standing there doing nothing, and he's getting paid for it. He's not out trudging the woods and what have you. But he's there when we find the subject or the body. He's there to go out and see it.
Right. Well, he's doing what he was assigned to do, but it's a broken system that's assigning people.
Yeah, I think if legislation was passed that we got some kind of money for SAR, even if it's just for training, training is one of the biggest parts. A lot of people don't want to do this because there's a lot of training involved, and it takes some money to do it.
Well, and that's my big thing is that I think that money ruins everything. But the problem is that people have marketed it, and I don't think money, in the strictest sense, is the solution. I think what I've always felt is that no matter what the vocation, it should not cost somebody to give their time. So how can we remove all that cost, training and other things, to their time?
You're looking at equipment. I mean, think about it. You give somebody brand new this equipment list that they have to have just to be qualified so they can go out into the woods. That equipment's not cheap. I mean, I've seen people out there with packs that are worth $1,000.
Yeah. There's and then if you do something like if you do dog handling, your expenses triple, quadruple, whatever.
Absolutely.
It costs so much money, and people don't realize that's coming out of somebody's intrinsic need to help.
Right.
You have a favorite story about SAR that you can say on this radio station?
I do. I have one.
Hand over to Bud and Russell.
No, there's it was in Nanticoke, which is up in Lackawanna County. It was my first time as chief, and we were called in to find a woman who was 85 years old, and this is 4 days into the search, and they already ran their dogs through their police dogs. They ran their FLIR. They had the helicopter out looking for this woman and what have you. We looked at the map and we decided we were going to clear this one area, which was a strip mine. So as we're walking through the strip mine, one of my brand new members looks down into a ditch, and she starts stuttering and screaming, "Body, body, body!" And I just looked at her. I said, "Well, blow your whistle." So she's blowing her whistle. Next thing you know, my whole team's flowing over there. We found her, and she was wrapped up in some dishwasher racks at the bottom of this pit. So we go down. We call for an evac, and we go down. We start rendering care on her. And she was there for the whole 4 days, wrapped up in these things. The moral of the story is that no matter if you put FLIR or what have you in that field, you need bodies and boots on the ground to look.
Yeah, boots on the ground get people found.
And boots on the ground that found her. She lived to see another day because of us.
How do you feel about helicopters?
They have their good and bad points.
I've never been on a search with somebody who was down where helicopters found them. And I've been on many areas where they've cleared, and I've found bodies with a helicopter hovering right over.
Yeah, it's they're not trained to look for things like this.
And that's what people don't realize is that they think you're bashing it, but it's not. It's a different mindset. They're trained more for moving objects than stationary objects. You put military spotters in a helicopter,
you'll find a person.
You'll have a better success.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why everybody going nuts now with drones just drives me nuts. We've had drones for years. They're helicopters.
That's all they are.
And they're going to change everything. Drones are going to change everything.
The thing about SAR, I mean, when it comes to looking for somebody, we used to play hide and seek all the time. Because, if you're hiding in the woods, you can see the difference after a while of a body shape or of somebody, how they're trying to hide, or somebody, you could just see the difference of a body or a person laying on the ground or against a tree. You get this not tunnel vision, but you get a lot of people with tunnel vision. They're just looking at one spot. But as you play hide and seek, you're looking and you're like, oh yeah, I do see the difference there. It is different. There's somebody standing there.
Right.
And that's the training you got to do about, to find somebody, especially a helicopter spotter. They should have that sort of training.
And there's like you said, there's like a switch that's thrown, because even today, I'll be on a search and I can think of searches in the past year or two where they've called me out and they said right over there, and I go, where? And then you don't see it. Then once you see it and lock on, like you said, you can't not see it.
No, you can't see it. Yeah.
It's just glowing at that point.
Right. It's just, I can look into like a field of ferns and I can say, there's disturbance right there. Check it.
Right.
Because I know what a field of ferns looks like without disturbed.
And that's what nobody's doing. People think that either their dog will lead them to the person.
Right.
Or that the person's going to be laying out like they're at a viewing at a funeral home.
Right.
And that's not how
it's not how it works. I mean, dogs are great. They have their place in SAR, but I can tell you, as I used to hide for a lot of dogs. I hid for bloodhounds. I hid for air sending dogs. I had a handler and a dog walk on me and continue. I was in a ghillie suit laying in a grass field, and they walked right on top of me and just kept going.
Well, there's lots of stories about different fugitives and stuff that said the dogs went by them and everything.
Oh, yeah, they walk right past.
And I think you've got to have a mix of resources. You've got to have a definite mix of resources. It's a combination of things. I think one of the things that you guys did was you didn't have dogs for a while. We never had dogs. At the very end is when we started our dog team. And that was part of the end. Right, that was part of the end. That was part of causing the end. I can tell you this. When you needed a swamp cleared, or you needed a field cleared, or you needed anything you didn't feel like going into, they called us. And we cleared everything. We were pretty much the guys that cleared what you didn't want to go into. Right. Right. I remember it's right at the end with dogs, and I warn people because dogs is a commitment. It's like deciding you want a dive unit. Right. It's a big commitment. And I think that was part of what killed us in the end. It was, yeah, because it started to get really political, and everybody wanted to be a rock star. Exactly. But when we were the guys, I remember Marsar would call us to go down to Jersey to clear swamps because they didn't want to do it. Yeah. Yeah, and you. To this day, there's a lot of people that want to do quick finds. There's no such thing. Yeah. If it was quick, you wouldn't have been called. That's right. It's plain and simple. Somebody's only calling you because it's a mess. Yeah. They're calling you because they don't know what to do anymore, and they're asking for more help. Ask for a different view. Before we go and do a little bit of after show, what do you think your legacy will be? I don't think I'll have any. I don't think you'll have any. No, people in SAR are forgotten quickly. No. If people are forgotten, what are you doing here? Because you haven't forgotten me. I forget everything. I don't remember where the car is parked. That's why it's there, actually. So I can see it. So you can see it out the window? I can see it out the window. I don't really know what my legacy is going to be. I don't know. I have no idea. SARX. That might be part of it. I think maybe the dispatch system for the council. I started that. That dispatch system was so intricate and so thought out, and it's never been used to 1/10 of its capacity. Well, to this day, it's still your voice on the dispatch system. Oh, really? Yeah. That's interesting. It's still your voice. Wow. But you broke it down into every county. Yeah. It's never county. It's all call every time. That's crazy. You did every county. But Russell would do a little bit of after show, and then we'll let you go. But thank you, and I didn't forget you, and a lot of people didn't forget you. I appreciate it. There's a lot of people that are going to listen to this show because a lot of people said, oh, you got Brian. I said, no, Brian's mellowed. Brian's mellowed. We've all mellowed. Yeah, I don't run into a scene anymore screaming and hollering. Yeah, and your pants are on. And my pants are on, yeah. That's exactly. That is a plus. That's a plus. Well, I appreciate you having me, Mark. Sure. It was interesting. We'll do a little bit of after show. All right, man.